Hey guys, welcome back. And today I'm with StrikeNinja, so you can unmute if you want. And we are currently going to be talking about the Social Gloves scandal, the YouTube boxing tier list trend, and yeah. So, are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so we got StrikeNinja with us, guys. Someone is here. There's one person watching, so that's great. So, I know you made a video. I did not watch it, but I heard about the Social Glove scandal. So, and I know in your video you said that, Jake Paul was right. So, what were your thoughts on hearing that it was a flop and that it didn't, the company might file for bankruptcy?
Well, the event itself, in terms of quality, like the pay-per-view part wasn't terrible. I think the only problem was with the judges. That was like the main problem people had with like the Addison Gibb and Taylor Holder fight. The judges didn't do a good job. The whole thing, I think they, I think I said this in the video. They, they shoot for the stars. They took a shot at the stars and they hit the moon instead. In the sense where they aimed for like maybe like 500,000 pay-per-view buys,
Yeah.
and instead they landed somewhere like in the hundreds zone, 100,000. So
Yeah, I would.
they
I
did a good job with the.
what were you
Sorry?
saying?
I meant to say like they didn't do a good job with the whole piracy thing. There are live streams all over the internet with I believe there are live streams all over the internet with pretty much showing the video, like showing the full, like it was in good quality too, like the whole event, live streaming the whole event. I saw there was one with 300,000 views on it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like there was so many pirated streams that were on YouTube, and like there was one that like I saw and it's still up. Like it's still like there, and it's like I think that they need to do a better job at looking at what was pirated and what wasn't. And I don't know why they like first of all, why did you do the Hard Rock Stadium? Like I know these people have huge followings, but like KSI versus Joe Weller was in the Copper Box, which was a smaller arena. I mean, it was a big arena, but it wasn't like the Hard Rock Stadium huge. And I just kind of didn't understand some of the things that they chose to do, and like that they were paying lots of these people millions of dollars. I was like, who is running this? Because this is like a new company, so it just kind of seems like one of those sketchy scam companies to me.
Yeah, definitely. No, I don't think it's a scam, but they definitely did. They did bite off more than they can chew, because felt like um the event, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't a horrible event. I'd say this is one of like the on the better side of the events. I think it's better than the Triller event for sure.
Oh yes.
But the problem is that they can't. How did they expect to pay like $5 million each for Austin and Bryce, and you got the other fighters on the card too? When for example, with KSI versus Logan 2, I believe they were only paid $1 million each, but they expected to get $5 million to pay for each of Austin and Bryce.
Yeah, and people. Another thing is like I think Keemstar said that like only like half, like 5% or so. I don't know. They said like there was a very small percentage of people that watched it in the UK, and he was surprised by that. But I wasn't, because in the UK this event was happening at like 5 a.m. in the morning, and like Gibb and Deadly's fans are like teenagers, younger kids, and so they're not going to be staying up super late into the night to watch this fight. The same thing happened with the KSI second fight. It was super late in the UK and it didn't do good there either. And another thing is, why would you ask people to pay like $69 to see YouTubers and TikTokers fighting? That like Jake Paul versus Ben Askren was cheaper than that. Like I think that was their main flaw. Like if it was way cheaper, I think more people would have bought it.
I guess, yeah, I do agree with you on that. I think it was because there were much more influencers on the event, kind of like in the main card, which is why I think they had the idea of charging more. But I don't think it was a good idea personally either.
Yeah, like it should have been like $10-$20 instead of like its absurd price of that. So I just, and I understood like what Jake Paul tweeted out, like millions of followers doesn't equal like success or whatever. He tweeted that like today, and I feel like he's almost like reveling in the failure of this event. Like I just feel like the attitude that he has, like I don't really like it. And the fact is like he said that his last fight with Ben Askren did 1 point whatever million pay-per-views, and it brought in like $60 million. But like everyone said that that's not true. Like Dana White, Eddie Hearn, boxing experts, they've all stated like Jake's lying, and like the people behind the scenes know that he's not actually as successful as he says he is. So I'm like, I feel like you don't have the right to say that because, you know, because you're lying about what numbers you get. Like I believe that he's lying. I mean, if you believe he's not, I guess I you know, that's your opinion. But like for me, I'm like, you know, you're not like 10 times bigger than them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah, it makes sense. The whole Askren thing, is there like any solid evidence to prove, like besides the lawsuit that Triller filed, is there like any solid evidence? Because I know a lot of people were commenting on my video saying that the whole Triller thing was fake. Do you know if there's any like evidence?
I know that Triller, there was a controversy a couple like maybe a couple months ago before the Jake fight, where they were like inflating their numbers to make them look better, and like a company exposed them, but then they sued that company, and so like there wasn't like a concrete like answer of like did they or did they not, but like that's a piece of evidence that I'm using to back up my claim. It's like they have had a history of maybe inflating their numbers. Like they didn't confirm that they did, and obviously they're not going to, but you know, it seems like these companies like Triller, Social Gloves, you know, I just can't trust them. You know, like when it comes to them reporting stuff, or at least Triller.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then so that was pretty much covering that scan. Oh, so you made a video on Did you make a video on Dunya's like exposing Vic's boxing gym?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, so I did not watch. You post a lot. Like I don't know how you post. Like you post like multiple videos a day. But what were your thoughts on her exposing them?
Well, I know she's doing the right thing. There's a lot of dirt on these guys. I don't know. They said that they're gonna like respond or something. I'm not sure about that, but I think you can just watch the video if you want. I guess like because it's pretty much just me summarizing the whole video. And like about the whole thing, I don't really want to say anything too much about it because who knows if Vic's boxing gym can pull the whole Uno reverse card and kind of come back with another statement exposing Deji, because I don't think this is all Vic's boxing gym's fault, because Deji himself has a terrible work ethic, but it's also his coach's job to kind of make sure he comes prepared and ready for the fight.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that what Dunya said was like that clearly the coaches were part of the issue, but like Deji definitely like, you know, did the bare minimum and didn't train and didn't do what he was supposed to do. So I think that there was blame on both sides, but he definitely should not train with them ever again.
But I think Vic's boxing gym like took advantage of him. They just wanted his money, I guess, because overall, I think they have a solid boxing reputation. They like reviews wise, they're doing pretty good. But I guess it's because Deji's a popular YouTuber that they wanted his money instead, and to just kind of relax and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, like hearing that, like the fact that like they were drinking and trying to like make out with people is like that's like not what you're supposed to do as a boxing coach. Like you're supposed to be training them, not having your own vacation. So you know, clearly he should work with someone better. I'm interested to see what Vic's boxing gym has to say about what Deji is doing. And so now I want to talk about the YouTube boxing tier list, which has become a trend. Do you watch The Weight Concept?
I do.
Yeah, so The Weight Concept, I have, and The Realist, and I think someone else made YouTube tier lists, and I know. Have you seen The Weight Concepts and The Realists boxing tier list videos?
I haven't seen The Realist. I've seen The Weight Concepts. I think he did a really good job on it.
Yeah. So
to be, he put KSI below Jake Paul. I think that's a good idea because for now KSI, he could be above, but we haven't seen anything from him to prove that he is above Jake Paul. Indeed, a lot of people say that KSI, he has technique, but from what he's shown, you can't really go off something that hasn't even been shown.
Yeah.
You know what I
So,
mean?
so you saw my video on my tier list, and it was different. It was different, and I know that it might make some people be like, "What?" But like, I want to explain it more. But just what did you think about my? Did you? I know you probably didn't agree with it, but like, what were your thoughts?
I didn't. No offense. No offense. I think it was. I didn't agree with it. I think your opinion, no disrespect to you, all right? Like, will you take offense from this? If I say something?
Yeah, you can say it.
So, like, I think you kind of had you're a fan of KSI, right? I think your influence, KSI's influence on you. I think your, no offense, your tier list was a little bit biased. I feel like KSI Face Jarvis, you put him on the same level as Face Sensei, Logan Paul, and who's this? Aneeson Gibb, right?
I didn't mean to do that, and like I didn't realize I did that. I did not mean to do that. So I just
didn't realize to do that. All right.
So
I think.
Yeah, what do you say?
I think Jake Paul deserved to be at the first spot. Like, I'm not even a fan of the guy too much. I enjoy the guy's content. I think he's a cool guy, but I don't think he deserves to be at the bottom because he's been ducking everyone. No, because if you're like at the start, I think some people really use this clip too much. People say about the whole Jake Paul thing, he was ducking KS at the start. The thing with Jake Paul is at the start he's completely changed as a person. You can clearly see that, like, Jake Paul before, with the whole Disney thing, the Team 10 vlogs, he's not the same guy anymore. He's really evolved. And with KSI, he's also evolved, but he didn't take the same route as Jake Paul did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I thank you for that. And my opinion on for the Never Box Again category, did you agree with most of them? Like, I put Deji, Fuzi, Joello, Michael Lee. Like, do you agree with those ones?
Who did you put again? I forgot.
So for Never Box Again, I put, like, the big ones was like Deji, Fuzi, Joello, Michael Lee.
That's like, I don't want to say anything. I want to say that Deji can make a comeback, but you know what I mean. Like, in boxing, not everyone gets a third chance.
Yeah.
The second time you redeem, like you know the saying, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." That's the thing with Deji, is that we thought, after seeing Deji's reaction to Jake Paul beating Ben Askren, I thought he was going to come back a much stronger, a much more experienced, a much wiser Deji.
Yeah.
And if KSI would lose to Jake Paul, he would be the one to avenge KSI.
Yeah.
But he completely let us down. So I would want to say Deji does deserve to be higher, but like at the same time, he's got nothing to prove that he deserves to be higher.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think even in the fight with Vinny, I thought he didn't look technically very good because he kind of came in with his head, and when he was close, and like he had no defense. Like, when he would get hit and he wouldn't put up his hands, and like he kind of just rolled forward throwing these shots, and I wasn't impressed with what I saw from a technique standpoint. Anyways, like I think I just felt like it was a little too brawly for me. I felt like it should have been. I was expecting way more technicality from him.
Yeah, I really agree with you.
Yeah.
I think he was just he clearly underestimated his opponent Vinny. I think we all did. Let's be honest. I think most of us underestimated Vinny. He actually kind of he did a good tactic. He pretty much made himself look like he didn't know what he was doing. He just wanted to do it for the money. He stayed silent. He probably worked really hard because if you can see, the shots that he landed were actually really good shots.
Yeah, I put Vinny in meh. Do you agree with that, or do you think he should have been indecent?
Who else is in meh? Was it with Taylor Holder and all those other people?
Yeah, like Taylor, Slim, Ryan Johnston, Raka.
So with Taylor, I think I think Taylor should be higher. I think Taylor I know that he lost to Gibb,
Yeah.
but being fair, I think Gibb was just way too aggressive for Taylor Holder. Stance, I think he had a decent stance. He's not terrible. You know what I mean? I think he would beat Raka Raka. Raka Raka hasn't boxed in what, like 3 years. I don't think he deserves to be in the same tier as Raka. Who else did you put in the same tier? Was it was Joe Waller in that tier, or who was it?
So for Matt, I put like Cole, Siraj, Landon McBloom, Ryan Johnson, Slim, Vinny, and Taylor.
So with Siraj, I think he should be in the never box again, because I don't think he trained until 1 week before his actual fight.
Yeah.
Landon McBroom, yeah, he was fine. I think the guy that he beat up was just not good enough, though, so I wouldn't put him any higher than that.
Yeah.
Who else you put in there?
Ryan Johnston.
Okay, so with Ryan, yeah, that seems fair. Actually, that seems fair.
Yeah, I was expecting more from him, technique wise.
He didn't look that good in the whole, like, in the Social Gloves event. I think Nick Ireland definitely beat him.
And then I put Slim, and then Vinny and Taylor.
Yeah, I think Taylor deserves to be a tier above. I wouldn't put him in the same league as Siraj.
Yeah, Taylor just didn't do it like anything really. So I'm like, you seemed good, but like you just didn't show like really anything. So I couldn't really like put him at like decent. I just felt like his performance was met to me.
I don't think he was able to actually handle the pressure that was put on him by Gibb. I think Gibb came in. He was too overwhelmed by how aggressive Gibb was, and he stayed through. He stayed the aggressor the whole fight. I believe he stayed at the same pace, so it must have been difficult for Taylor. I don't think Taylor predicted that kind of pace and like aggressiveness.
Yeah, and then I put I think Vinny was mad. I mean, like I know he didn't seem terrible, but like if Deji had cardio, he would have beaten him. So it's like, you know, I think I wouldn't say he got lucky, but I also don't think he'd ever box again. Like I just don't think he's interested in. He literally said, "I'm doing this for money." So like, I don't know if he would ever want to go back into boxing.
But the thing is, we don't know if that was an act or not, right? Because Social Gloves, they're planning to get him again. I don't know. I don't think Social Gloves will have a fight, but
no.
I think if there is another card, there's bound to be someone that probably would avenge Deji, maybe in the UK. I think there will be someone that will try and avenge Deji in the UK. And I think Vinny would do the right if he would do the fight if the fight was right for the money. So
yeah, and then for decent, I put Austin, DDG, and JMX.
I think DDG deserves to be above.
I thought I felt like it would just I just felt like it wasn't memorable. Like I mean, he didn't seem terrible, but like he didn't seem like I don't think.
Yeah, the thing with DDG is I don't think he took the fight seriously at all. He clearly wasn't trying at all.
Yeah.
He was. I think I think personally I would add him higher, but that based on like what we've seen, yeah, I guess that's fair.
And then I just put JMX at decent because he hasn't boxed in years, but he seemed like he knew what he was doing. And then for almost there, I put Gibb, Logan, JMX, Face at Jarvis, Face Sensei. I would put Face Jarvis at decent. I wouldn't put him at the same level as almost there. So that was my mistake. But what do you think of that one?
Yeah, that seems fair, but I think Face Sensei should be a step above. And the reason is because I think he's very underrated. I think in terms of fight IQ, he really knows what he's doing. With the overflow fight, he did the liver shots. I don't think he was trying throughout the whole fight until overflow kind of like dragged him down. So it's definitely debatable. I think he would be higher, but based on what we've seen from him, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I only put him as almost there because he hasn't boxed in a long time. But I feel like if he was boxing, more consistently, he'd be up there. And then we're gonna get to the controversy, which is I put KSI in God tier, and then I put Jake Paul in Never Box Again. And I know that this probably doesn't make sense. and I want to explain just a little bit more. It's like I said in my video, like I know that Jake Paul, and I've said this in multiple videos. I know Jake Paul, technique-wise, right now is proven to be better than KSI, and that from a technical standpoint, like I mean, I was basing this tier list mostly off of technique, but I couldn't put him in God tier because, you know, again.
Well, why would you put him in the very bottom though?
Because I know the ducking thing isn't like, I know that you kind of didn't enjoy that angle, but you know, my thing is that like I'm like taking. Whoa, what was that? Oh, you back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay, so anyways, taking away, like, obviously you know about him ducking KSI or whatever, right? He fought Deadly, but no, so moving away from that for a minute, you know, he fought Gib, and we all pressured him to fight Gib, right? But Gib, like, people like were hyping Gib up, saying, you know, he's the beast from the Middle East. He's Jake's toughest opponent. He's pressure, relentless, but he was nothing he was hyped up to be. And he did not get good at boxing until after he fought Jake Paul. Like, everything that he was hyped up to be, he became with the Taylor fight. But when he fought Jake, he was like terrible. And the thing is like Jake fought someone that, like, I think Jake looked good in that fight. Like, I did a break. I might have done a breakdown on it, but I said there were positives that Jake did, and there were also stuff that that were flaws. Just like the KSI versus Joello fight. Like, both of these fights are similar because both opponents were like punching bags and were terrible, and it was a one-sided affair. But Jake and KSI both showed that they knew what they were doing, but there were also like flaws to their plan. And I believe that when you fight people that are really bad, I feel like Jake looks better than he actually is. Like, I don't think he is as good as everyone believes. I think he's good, but I don't think he's like amazing. Like, because he fought Nate Robinson, who never boxed before, and then he fought Ben Askren, who had also never boxed before, and was one of the Nate Robinson. The best way to summarize it without going on a tangent is like Nate Robinson and Ben Askren, to me, are two people with the status of athlete and professional fighter, but have the boxing skills of YouTubers. And so I think of those past two fights as Jake fighting two more YouTubers, because they perform. If you base it solely off of technique, those fights would technically a YouTuber versus a YouTuber. It just was that the two people they were fighting had these different accolades in basketball or wrestling or whatever. And again, the Nate Robinson fight, the Ben Askren fight, Jake looked technically good, but like at the same time, I'm like, you know, Nate Robinson's footwork was, and you can rewatch in like 0.25, his footwork was jumping. His 2 feet were in the air multiple times. Like the first thing he did was he was up in the air and he was literally like jumped at Jake and he came at him with his head. And with Ben Askren, I mean, that was literally the human formation of a punching bag. Like, Jake did the basics with Ben Askren. Like, he just jabbed, and then threw the big shot, and then it was over. So again, I think Jake technically has shown a lot, but it's easy, in my view, it's easy to do that when your opponents are so bad. And I don't believe that he's as good as we all think he is. And the reason why I don't think he believes that he's as good as he says he is because, you know, he didn't want to fight Dylan Moran and he didn't want to fight Tommy Fury. And I'm like, if you think you can beat, because his coach said, and he said, Jake Paul.
Oh, Dylan, let's be honest. I think it was Dylan that was ducking Jake.
Dylan
I don't
Moran?
think it was Jake. Jake's not scared. Jake's got nothing to be scared of with Dylan. Dylan can't really box.
Are you talking? No, not Dylan Dennis. Dylan Moran.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So Dylan Moran was like, if you don't know who Dylan Moran is, he was a Conor McGregor sparred this kid, and he wrote, "This guy gave me a tough time in sparring in exciting Irish prospect." And so Dylan Moran, and so Jake made fun of Dylan Moran on his Instagram story, saying like, "This is the people that Conor are boxing." And then Dylan was in LA, and he was like, "Jake, you know, let's go into the Mayweather gym and do like doghouse style rules and see who the best man is." Jake didn't do that, and then Dylan didn't want to even like have an event with Jake. He just wanted to fight him. And then there was an article that was in that said that Dylan was a consideration for Jake's next fight, which ended up being Ben Askren. So he was actually in the running, even though he didn't want to do that. And it's like, okay, so storyline wise, it makes sense that you fight Dylan Moran, because if you beat the guy that gave Conor McGregor a tough time, that Conor praised, everyone's gonna be like, Conor, where you at? Like, I would be like, Conor McGregor, you need to fight Jake next. Like, he just beat a pro boxer and someone that you gave high praise to. It made so much sense, and it would have proven that Jake is actually who he says he is. But he fought Ben Askren, and it's like, yeah, and then he refused to fight Tommy Fury because it didn't make sense business wise. But I'm like, if you are at that level where you think you can beat Conor, and your own coaches say that, and you're beating professional boxers in sparring like you say you are, then you should have no problem fighting Tommy Fury and Dylan Moran. Yes, I know business wise it doesn't make as much sense as like Tyron Woodley, but like it does. If you are that confident, you should easily be like, oh, I'm gonna fight these guys. So it just, that doesn't make sense to me. And just, I know technically he's shown the most out of any of the boxers, but that's because his opponents have been terrible. Tyron Woodley will change this whole thing, and I don't think Woodley will be a bum. But yeah, so like that's why, and I just think that where he's at now, which is like at Showtime, he's a main card. I just don't think he deserves that, because I feel like there are people, like even in the YouTube community, that have taken bigger risks and done more admirable things, and that deserve the position that he's at. Like Gibb fought Taylor, who was supposedly the best boxer. KSI wanted to fight Logan and Jake, and he wanted to do it with talents, gloves, no headgear. And obviously they had to do it amateur style, but then in the second fight they did it in a pro event. But like, it's just like he never takes risks, and I don't respect him as a fighter. And like, yeah, I mean, that's just my tangent though.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
And I guess that's fair enough, but I don't personally agree with the same thing.
Yeah. So why would you?
I think that's it for me. I gotta run.
Okay, you gotta go. Okay. Well, thank you.
It's getting late here. I gotta wake up early tomorrow.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining.
No worries, man.
And make sure to subscribe to him. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, so that was StrikeNinja, who was on the podcast. Listen, guys, I understand why you would put Jake Paul at number one, right? Because he technically has shown the most. But I'm like, to me, it's not impressive, because he's fighting people that are so bad. Like if Jake Paul fought instead of fighting Gibb, he fought Face Sensei. Let's say he fought Gibb, and then he fought Face Sensei, and then he fought Dylan Moran, and then he fought Tommy Fury. 100%, everyone would be saying this guy's not God tier. Even if he was beating these guys, he would not look technically amazing, right? Because he's not fighting the best of the best. He's not fighting the fights that make sense, that are challenging. When fighters fight people that are challenging and that are willing to take the risk, they're not going to look amazing, and I don't know, guys. That's my opinion. I don't respect him, and I just feel like if he was fighting the people, I guess my point with this whole tangent is like, if he was fighting the people that he should be fighting, or people that are at his level, people would not see him at this God tier level. I guarantee you that, because his actual abilities is not what we're being shown. We're just being shown what he wants us to see. And I guess that's what I hope that makes sense. And if you want to debate me on that, you can do that. But that's me. That's just me. I just think that his actual boxing abilities is not what we're seeing. We're seeing the ego-stroked, carefully manufactured skill level. Also, my eyes are just watering up. I hope I'm not going blind. Oof. Well, I don't know who's watching this, but thank you for staying on. Ow. My foot. I want to see if Angel can come on here, but... Ow, what did I do to myself? Anyways, that was my tangent. That was just like us disagreeing. Ow, I got something stuck in it. Hold on. I think I got something in my... What was that? Oh. Okay. Well, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to cut that. That hurts. Okay. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I guess that's my tangent. So we've been going for 30 minutes, half an hour. I don't really have anything else to say. Oh, the realist. I don't know if he's like. I guess he's like banned. James Johnson, who's a regular subscriber of this podcast thing. Hold on. Oh. Who, that he banned him from his comments, which I was like, what? James Johnson got banned, and then he banned me from talking on his TikToks. Like, this guy does not want criticism. I'm telling you, he does not want criticism. And yeah, man, like I just don't get the realist. And he's been making so many more videos, and I'm like, oh god. And he said the little things that have annoyed me, but nothing major. But I'm sure he will, and I will expose him for it. Let's see if I can. Should I call him? Should I call him? Let's see if he picks up. Ow. Trying to get someone call. And wow, okay. Well, we tried, guys. We tried to get someone else on the line to talk, but it didn't work. So I guess this is where I'm gonna end the stream. I was hoping that Angel would come on, but he did not appear. But you know what? I'm glad we're getting StrikeNinja on here. He's a big name. He's a big YouTuber, 1,000 subscribers, and he's just so knowledgeable, and he makes great content. Like, his content is really good, and I think his knowledge of there's a lot of things really impresses me. Ow, guys, I don't know what I did. Whew, I'm hot. Well, I mean, I know I'm not like hot, but like I'm hot, like hot body temperature wise. I'm not even talking about two people. Who is this second person that's appeared? Go in the chat and say hi. Say hi. I don't know who's watching this. I don't know who's out there. But who is ever out there is, just remember, don't do drugs. There is a past version of you that is so proud of how far you've come. Facts. Black men are serving one. Okay, no, that's political. Anyways, I don't really know what else to talk about. I think we pretty much addressed everything with regards to the Social Gloves event scandal kind of one. I just wanted to go on here and do a little impromptu podcast. They announced an all-female boxing card, which I don't think was even going to happen. KSI's solo single Holiday debuts at number 2 on UK charts. Haters were proven wrong. And yeah, so I am going to oh god. Yeah, so most of you probably aren't even watching this anymore, so I'm just gonna sit back. Okay, guys, well, I'm gonna end this now because it is late at night and I have nothing else to talk about. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm gonna be posting another YouTube tier list video on YouTube boxing events probably Monday. And then we'll go from there. Oh god, my hair. And then we'll go from there as in terms of what else I'm gonna post. So yeah, peace.